quitting making beats. The short version of why I'm quitting making beats is just because my friends don't make music anymore. Um, Making beats used to be a way for me to connect with my friends, and all the people that I used to make music with just either don't make music anymore or they don't make music as nearly as much as they used to. So I've really lost the way to connect with people, and it just I love making beats. I realize not to make beats, but to work with my friends, have fun, and create songs together. That's where my primary enjoyment from creating beats came from. So now that my friends don't make music anymore or barely make music at this point in time, it's almost like there's no it's not funny anymore because I'm making beats and I upload them onto YouTube, and like for what? For nothing. It's like to barely get any views, barely get sales. I get sales every once in a while on my BeatStars, but I realized that the fun thing that I enjoyed about making beats was literally just being in the studio and chilling and hanging out with my friends, because I made music with my friends. When I make music with people I like. I make music with people that I'm close to, that I consider my friends. And all those people that I used to make music with, they just don't make music anymore. So, and it's been a couple months like this where it's like, I think the last time I've made music with any of my friends or anyone that I would consider like a close friend is like 6 months. It's been like, I think it's even been longer than that. We're in April. And the last time I was around, honestly, I think it was June. So it's more like 8 to 10 months. And during that time frame, it's like you really think, because like I'm here making beats alone, and I'm like, I was really starting to question why I'm even doing it anymore, because my friends don't make music anymore, and I just didn't have a reason to make beats. So I'll give you the backstory about why I became a producer in the first place, and then I'll talk about how we got here. So I first started making beats a little after the 2016 to 2017 era of music came out. To be honest, I didn't really ever want to make music. I didn't have an interest in it. I enjoyed listening to music, but I didn't have an interest in making music until music from the 2016 to the 2017 era came. The kind of music I'm talking about really is just trap inspired music. I love how trap music really sounds. I love when it's fused with pop especially. So I love like Lil Nas X. I love like Post Malone. Even Ariana Grande is like trap influenced. Doja Cat. I love that, but I also love like the strict trap artists as well. Like I love Lil Uzi Vert, XXXTentacion, Juice WRLD. When this era of music came out, that's when I was like, yo, I want to make this style of music. It sounds so freaking awesome. And so one problem I encountered, because at first what I wanted to actually do was I wanted to do vocals. At first it wasn't like, oh, I want to do production. At first I was like, I want to be like an artist performing and creating songs. And the first thing I realized around that time is, I guess because the style was so new, I couldn't find any like beats in the style that I thought was really similar to this kind of music that I liked. Like I'm talking like Erase Your Social by Lil Uzi Vert, 20 Minutes, EXO Tour Life, Lucid Dreams, All Girls Are the Same. There was something happening in the production that I was just not hearing in a lot of the beats on YouTube. And then so I ran into this problem where I had a choice. I could either just make songs to these beats that I really am not happy with, or I could learn to make the style of beats that I wanted to myself. And so I started making beats primarily for that purpose at first. At this time, I had just started making music, so I didn't have any friends who made music at this time. So I was really just alone, and the reason I really started making beats was just so I could make beats for myself. And I was like, how hard could it be? Turns out it's really freaking hard. Making beats is insanely hard. It took me, I would say, a year or two of just like trying to start to get to like good beats. When I started making beats, I just didn't understand what it took to make a good trap beat. I layered way too many elements together. I didn't know how to arrange a beat well. But eventually, after about 1 to 2 years, I became good enough of a producer where I was like, okay, I like my beats, and where other people started to tell me, wow, these beats are really good. During that time, I did meet other artists, because one of my friends also showed an interest in this kind of 2016, 2017 era of music as well, trap music as well. We were already friends prior to this, so it was like, okay, dope. He likes this music, I like this music, and we started to learn music together. So at this time, we also lived together. So I lived with him, and we would just make music all the time. Sometimes I'd be doing my thing on my computer. Maybe I'd be watching a Netflix show, and he'd be making like music, and then I would get drawn and be like, okay, let me stop watching this show. This is a great idea. Or the vice versa would happen. Sometimes he'd be playing a video game or something, and then I would be making a musical idea, and then he would just come and be like, ooh, what are you making? I want to hop on that beat. Eventually, I got to a point where the beats I was making were consistently, he was like, wow, these are great. I want to keep hopping on your beats. And so what started as like something to supplement my own musical journey, I started creating beats to create beats that I wasn't hearing, became me supplementing beats for my friends. And it really started with just my roommate, the person I was living with at the time. And it made a lot of sense to me because every single beat I made, I didn't make a good song to. In fact, at that time, my production skills kind of surpassed my vocal skills, where I was way better at production than I was at vocals. I spent so much time trying to learn like the style of production that I wanted to make vocals on. I very much stagnated as a vocalist, and I was not nearly as good at vocals as I was at producing. My vocals were way behind my production skills. I was a much better producer. So much so to the point where I even considered just becoming a producer alone, because I was like, man, I'm just so bad at it. But what I just had to lock in, I had to learn a bit more about actually songwriting, because they're just completely different skills. But my point is, just because I made a beat, even if the beat was for myself, I couldn't make songs to every single beat I made. So it made a lot of sense. The best way to use the beats that I made were to actually supplement them and give them to other artists and let them actually make ideas to those, because like it's better than them just sitting in my hard drive, right? So one of the things about music is it's kind of like a lottery. You have to kind of not only make a good song, but you have to, in a way, be lucky. You have to post it at the right time. The right people have to see it. It has to get the right traction, because, man, there are so many dope songs that just exist, that are out there, that aren't gaining any traction for a wide variety of reasons. So the way I thought about it was, the more shots you have, the more chances you have like to blow up, right? So I was like, I might as well take the beats I've made that I can't make a good song to and let other artists make songs to those beats. And that's what started to be the thing. I would make beats and I would try to make a song to it myself. And if it didn't work, I would show my friends, and then I would start making songs with my friends. And this is where I started to like record other artists. And this is where I realized, man, I love working with other artists and making songs with them. Not only do I like making songs myself and being a vocalist myself, but I think I even prefer when I work with somebody that I really like and who has like a creative flow that I can mesh really well with. I actually think I prefer that to working alone. So I started to work with not just that friend who I used to live with, but one of my other regular friends saw all the music I was making. He got interested in music and started making music. And then I also met a person around this time, around 2019 COVID time, that also became one of my best friends, who's also super interested in the style of music. And it's like, oh my God, all the pieces are aligning, right? So I had like 3 really close friends that were also artists that I was producing and making a whole bunch of beats for, and we were making a whole bunch of music, like a lot of music. This is also around COVID time. So we had so much free time, because once lockdown happened, all we basically did was just make music together. I had so much time to just make beats. I was even working on my vocals back then. I didn't get good during COVID. It took a long time, but I was working on my vocals back then, and I kind of became like a producer role. My role started to become the producer. I am the producer. We had a collective name. We called ourselves A Collective. And we just kept making a lot of songs. Eventually what ended up happening though is, at this point, like, none of them make music anymore. I mean, they do, but it's like, they don't make music nearly as much. It's not the same. After the lockdown ended, it slowly started to dwindle. We still made music, but before, we would almost daily make songs together. After the pandemic, it started to become monthly, and over the last few years, it's dwindled even more so than that. Like, I barely see them anymore. And when I started to not make as many songs with my friends, I started to realize, like, the actual process of production I don't actually enjoy. I don't enjoy sitting down and making beats. To me, that's not fun. It's actually very boring. And I've always struggled with it because I'm like, oh, it's just so boring. Some days I would waste and it feels like a waste to spend an entire day trying to make some good beats and then you just make bad ideas the whole day. Producing is not only very hard, I find it personally boring because it takes a lot of time to find the sound selection. It takes a lot of time to come up with unique melodies. I notice now that I've learned production from like a musical theory perspective, I notice so many patterns in songs, and it's kind of a bit of a curse, and it's really annoying because I'm like, oh, these arpeggios are so similar to this other beat I made or this actual song that exists. Even though all beats, when you really listen to them, are so simple, my brain, because I recognize the pattern and within music in correlation to each other, it makes me like bored with the beats I'm producing because I'm like, oh my god, it just sounds like this. It sounds like something that already exists. It's been really hard for me to get over that. And without the external motivation of like, oh, I made a beat, even though the process to make the beat was boring, it's worth it because in the end, we're gonna have so much fun making a song together. And another way I kind of got around the boring process of making beats is beats are not boring when you're like in a room with your friends. Like when you're in the studio and your friends are there, yeah, and you're with the artist, it's kind of different because the artist kind of directs it and it takes a lot of the pressure off of you to like find really cool sounds, because then it's not about like making myself super like satisfied with the beat and super interested. When the artist is there, my goal is to help bring an artist's vision to life. I'm more there to serve the artist, and that makes it a lot easier because when the artist is there, I just do what they like. If they like a sound, I use that sound. If they like a melody, I use that melody. It takes a lot of thinking away, and I could kind of just use my skills to serve the artist. So absent of working with all these artists, I was just making beats alone, and I was like, it just felt like it really felt like a waste of time because I wasn't making songs with my artist friends. And around this time, my own personal vocals started to get really good. I ended up finding a vocal coach that I just clicked really well with, and the progress I made with him is way faster than my past vocal coaches. Like I wish I had met him during the pandemic because the progress I made, the music I can make now is just consistently very good because my vocals have gotten a lot better and I've gotten a lot more control. And as I started to progress as a vocalist, that was my original reason for even making music in the first place. I wanted to be a vocalist and I started to be able to make my own music that I enjoyed by myself. But one thing I had realized is like the beats that I couldn't find, like there's so many good beats that exist on YouTube nowadays. Like if I go on YouTube, there's actually too many good beats. I don't know what happened between like 2016, 2017 and now, but like producers are way, way better. I think it's just because the style was so new that people hadn't fully adapted to the style yet. But now if I go on YouTube, it's so easy to find a beat I like. So my original reason for making beats was gone. And then like my external motivation for my friends was gone because they're just not making music anymore. And then it started to feel like I just don't have any reason to make beats. You know, it's like the people I made beats with that I love making beats with that I love making music with, they don't make music anymore. And there are plenty of good beats that I don't need to make and I could spend all my time being a vocalist and being an artist. At first I tried like, okay, maybe let me network through TikTok to find some other good artists. But man, I don't enjoy just sending beats out to people and getting songs back and sending beats out. I actually like working directly with an artist and developing them. I enjoy the process of helping them songwrite. I enjoy the process of mixing their stuff for them and creating a good mix together. I enjoy the process of like helping vocalists sing better and like using that knowledge. So I really like developing artists is what I realized more than production. What I've realized from all of this is that I enjoy the development of artists significantly more than production. In fact, I don't even really enjoy production. I never have. It was just a means to an end. I only did it because I had to. And now that like I don't have a reason to want to do that, it's like I'm at this point where it's like, why make beats when I could just spend, I work like 80 hours a week and it's like I barely have time to even make music in the first place. And it's like I want to spend that time creating songs. And when there are no other artists that I'm making music with, it just seems kind of like there's no purpose, and just it seems like it's purposeless to make these beats that nobody is hopping on. Um, and when there are plenty of good beats that I could myself use on YouTube. So I don't know if I'm quitting. I'm gonna try to make some beats because I've just been trying to force myself to do it, but it just doesn't feel the same because like the people that I was making beats with, they just don't make music anymore, and it's just like music is how I connect with my friends, and it's like my friends aren't making music anymore, so it's like what's the point of making these beats is kind of what I'm feeling like. So it's really hard to find artists on like TikTok and stuff. Um, Not only is it hard to find good artists, but even when you find good artists that like actually like your beats, because it's like it's kind of complicated where the artists have to like your beats, you have to like their style of music, you have to like what they're doing, and then you guys have to like they also have to respond, see your DMs, so it's like this kind of nuanced process, and but like I said, it's not the same as being in the room with artists. I think really what I would enjoy the most is like maybe having a record label and going back to the days of developing artists. But that seems highly unrealistic unless I win the lottery, because I just don't have the money to like start a record label. I see so many dope independent artists on a daily basis, but like I don't know why the focus is so messed up right now. Jesus Christ, I don't know what it's focusing on, but I just I was since I was producing for artists, I was also able to develop because I had produced so many albums. I had produced at least 3 to 4 albums for artists, and during that process, we were creating a sound together, and that's really what I thought was fun about making beats. And there's just no motivation. There's no. I feel like there's no. I have no motivation right now. It's really bugging me, by the way, that it's not focusing properly. Oh, well, it's just gonna be blurry, I guess. But now that like there's just no motivation, it's just like because that was the fun part. The fun part was working with an artist and creating a sound together, creating a style that doesn't exist. To me, that was the fun part. And without that, no one's buying the beats. I mean, I could do beats as a full time job if like the beat store was popping, but like it's not, of course. I made my own mistakes with why it's not popping. I had opportunities probably to monetize it, and I just made mistakes. Like when a whole lot of red beats were doing good on my channel, instead of making more of those beats, I was kind of like, I don't want to just make one style of beat. I didn't want to be boxed in, and I think that was not the best business decision. I mean, I had so much time. It was during the COVID era, but none of my friends were making songs to a whole lot of red beats. So I'm like, what's the point of making this whole lot? It's like. And then at that time when my beats were blowing up, I accidentally didn't link my PayPal to my beat stores, so nobody could actually purchase beats from my beat store, and I took a huge L. And I didn't realize it till like 3 or 4 months later, after those wave of beats already blew up, where somebody emailed me. I was like, I was trying to buy beats, and I just can't. I was like, oh my god, I got like 20K views on a beat, and I'm like, why are there no sales? And it was literally because my PayPal, the same day I linked my PayPal to the beat stores, I sold my first beat. And I was like, oh my god, I could have sold my first beat like 3 months ago. And then since then, I've made like 1,000 off of my beat stores, but like that's not nearly enough to live. And it would take so much work. In the process of making beats, I just don't find fun. And if you want to turn something into your source of income, I feel like the best thing is to enjoy the process. I don't know. I don't want to quit making beats, but it's just really not fun, and I just don't know what to do. I don't know if I just need to take a break, maybe just produce a new style of music. But it's really just because like the people I made songs with don't make songs anymore, so it's just very lonely. It's like I have no one to make songs with. Right now, I'm releasing a lot of those songs that we had made a long time ago because when we were making the songs, we were just doing it for fun. We didn't want to monetize it. But now, like 5 years later, we're like, we should have just put this shit out. Like, we have no reason to just be sitting on it. So we're putting a lot of those songs out. But a lot of them are old. So, like, if you see, like, oh my God, there's a song that I produced for somebody, a lot of times those are old, at least a year old, because it's been about 8 months since I've even produced the song for an artist that wasn't me. Every once in a while, I'll still produce for myself. But it's like there's just so many good beats on YouTube. It just feels like it's just better to just make songs to all these great beats, and then instead of having to make a good beat myself, because like every beat you make is not going to be good as a producer. It's just a fact. Every creative idea you create is just not always going to be good. And so it's like, why waste that time sifting through all these bad ideas to try to get to a good idea when I could just find a good beat that's already done? If my goal right now is to just be an artist, why not? And the thing I've realized from pursuing a career as an artist is it helps me network just as good, if not better, than my actual producer networking, because I created 2 channels, one for my music, solo music, and I had one for my production. And I've networked with more artists through my artist channel than through my producer channel. So I'm like, I don't even need to, and I could just network with somebody, and if I find somebody I like, I could be like, I can just start making beats again. So it's like, I have like 500 beats that are in the vault, like whatever. I'm not concerned with that. So if I could find some friends that love to make music again, maybe I'll start making beats again. And I still might upload some beats to this channel just to have some of the ones that are out, because just in case something happens to the hard drive where on BeatStars, it'll save all my files for me. So upload it to BeatStars actually is beneficial, because I had a hard drive issue where I was really saved because a lot of my beats are already on BeatStars. So I didn't lose really anything because I could just re-download project files or stems from BeatStars. But I have like 200 beats in my laptop that aren't finished and aren't mixed. A big reason, again, is time. I work 80 hours a week, and it's also just like there's just no motivation to do it. Because I'm just doing it alone. So it's like, I don't know. It's kind of just being rambly at this point. I've already got all the main points out. I want to keep making beats, but I also want to work with artists directly to make songs. And right now, none of my friends are doing that, which makes sense. You know, we get older. We started making music in high school. All of us have finished college. One of us has a child. Like, as you get older, you just lose the time you had to do the things you love, which is something I really hate, because it's like, I think I had the funnest times of my life just making music with my friends. And I really miss those times, and I wish I could get them back. I know I can't. I don't know what my musical journey is going to look like now. I'm going to still try to produce, because who knows, like, tomorrow I might find a new friend to make music with. You never know what happens in life, but right now I'm really on that verge of quitting. I just don't have any reason. It feels like it's, like I said, it's really hard to network and find artists that you actually are interested in that also like your beats. My beats are weird, so it's really hard to find people to hop on them. They're very unique. But I love my beats, and I just make what I like to hear. So that's why I'm quitting. That's why I'm quitting producing for now. I might start again, but this is really just how I feel right now, and I just wanted to document it because it's hard. It's hard making beats. And then imposter syndrome too, man. You'll hear all these dope producers, like, and I'm like, wow, they're just so good. I'm just like, it takes me so long to make a good beat. I love the beats that I make that I think are really good. I love those beats, but they take so long to get to. Just, I don't know, man. I just wish I could still make music with my friends, but right now they just don't. So I just don't have a reason. So.